There's been quite a buzz ever since I introduced Enoch last week, along with the Commonplace book in the large field note size notebook. Some of the questions people have asked are, how does the fountain pen hold up on the field notes paper? What other notebooks fit in this particular sized folio? And how did I come up with the name Enoch? In this video, I hope to address all those questions and give you a few more tips along with website information on the Commonplace books, which I found quite interesting and inspirational. Coming up. Sojourner Studio, designer of travelers' notebooks, folios, and other leather goods. Let's get right into the subject of Enoch and this large field notes. There is just something about this size that hits the sweet spot between a B6 and a B6 Slim. The large field notes is sized at 4 3/4 by 7.5 inches long, and here you can see the size difference. The one on top is a B6 Slim, the one in the middle is a B6, and the one on the bottom, of course, is the large field notes. Many are asking what other notebook alternatives there are in the market besides the large field notes that will fit in this sized folio. I would like to show you, but before I do that, I need to give a disclaimer here. If you purchase the folio in the large field note size, it is specifically made to fit up to 2 field notes. In the previous video I showed, I'm actually able to fit up to 3 field notes in my personal folio. That may not always be the case. It can really depend on the leather used as well as how long you've been using the folio because, as you all know, leather can oftentimes stretch with use. The amount of give can really depend on the kind of leather that your folio is made of. So, for example, the Yael, Rose of Sharon, Enoch, Rose Gold, those have a little bit more give than, let's say, Stag, the Roadrunner, the pull-up leathers. So, yeah, that's just something for you to keep in mind. If you are unsure, please ask before you place an order. Having said that, let's get to the other notebooks. Here are some of the different ones that I found on hand in my collection. Now, whether the fountain pen is going to feather, bleed, or ghost in these notebooks will really depend on a couple of things. First, it depends on what kind of ink you put inside the fountain pen, because some inks are wetter than others. And the second thing is the size nib that you use in your fountain pens. I'm going to be using 2 different fountain pens for this test. One of them is going to be a Twsbi in fine point, and the other will be a broad in a Franklin Christoph. So let me go ahead and show you that first off in the field notes. So here we go. Again, this is the fine point. And this one is the broad point nib. And as you can see here, there's a little bit of ghosting, but I wouldn't say that it's really bad or anything like that. It's just slight. As far as feathering, I'm not really seeing any of it. Here's the Orchid and Tomoe River inserts that we sell in the studio. These are in the B6 size, approximately 5 by 7, and in the Rose of Sharon, you can fit 2 of these inserts comfortably. Let me show it to you. There's a little extra room on the top and on the bottom, but I think it's doable. So most of you already know how fountain pens hold in the Tomoe River and the Orchid papers, but let me go ahead and show you. Here I have the Orchid and Tomoe River. There's the fine point. And the broad point. It has a slight bleed on it, but again, not anything really bad. Now let me show it to you in the Tomoe River. Again, there's not a lot of feathering, and there's barely any ghosting on this one. This is a Muji brand notebook. You can see how it fits in this folio. So let me go ahead and show you how it handles fountain pen inks. Here is a fine point. And here's the broad point. I do not see any ghosting. The last notebook that I want to show you is by a company called Life. Not to be confused with the Kikuyu brand Life book, which is made of Tomoe River. These Life books are in a league of their own. These are just like the Mujis in that they're in B6 size, and they are really super fun to write in. The lines or graphs can come in different colors, and this one, for instance, is pistachio. So the lines on here are in pistachio color. Super fun to write in, very different. If you like a different look, then there's also the vermilion one, which is red in color. As you can see, I used this notebook. See the graph? Super fun to write in. So anyway, these are 32 sheets of paper. There are 64 pages altogether. Now there is another kind of notebook, and it's called a Noble Notes section notebook. With this, it is also a B6, just like this one. It is a thicker spine notebook. So it has 100 sheets, meaning there's 200 pages altogether. This thicker spine notebook will not fit the large field note sized folio. Okay, just so you understand. The thinner ones, yes, 2 of these can fit, 1 on each side. So I'll show you right here. I'm not going to put it in because you've seen how the Muji fits. It fits about the same. Okay, and it'll close, no problem, it'll fit in there. The larger, thicker spined Noble notebook, again, thicker spine, will not fit in here. And I'll show you. It's just too tight. So, those are the Life books. I want to go ahead and show you how it handles the fountain pens. Here is the fine point. And here's the broad. As you can see, there's barely any ghosting. I wanted to go ahead and show you some other links to websites that you can check out Commonplace books. This one here, I just typed in Commonplace books in Google, and it brought about this Pinterest page full of Commonplace book examples. And if you click on any of these, it will lead you to even more links and all of that. So I will go ahead and put in the links in the description of this video. But all you have to do, like I said, is just put in Commonplace books, and this is one of the ones that'll come up. the Pinterest page. And then this one I found, it's by Evernote. And this is really a good article. And this one is titled Taking Notes, What Commonplace Books Can Teach Us About Our Past. And in here to the right, if you go to where it says Taking Notes, an Introduction to the Value of Notes and Note-Taking, you will see examples, once again, of just notebooks. Again, I'm not going to go over and go to other links, but there are links upon links to these that you can check out. Here one, it says Lessons in Collaboration and Creativity from Thomas Edison. Here you can see, again, an article about Thomas Edison and his Commonplace book. And we'll show you different, there you go, different pictures of his book. You can see his drawings. And then this one is drawings from Da Vinci. So take a look at these websites. Again, I will link it. Look at those drawings. Aren't those cool? Amazing. People have asked, and so the last thing I'd like to share is how I came up with the name Enoch. I need to preface this by giving you a bit of background information. You may be familiar with the scripture pages that I've been doing since last August. If you're not, basically it is that I write portions from the books of the Bible on a daily basis. My goal is that every day I write a page full, like this. During that time that I was going to officially introduce Enoch, I was about 3 to 5 days behind in my scripture pages, and I was really feeling guilty about it. So that's the backstory. Fast forward to Enoch. If you've been following me for a time, you are probably aware that I put careful thought in what I name each of the leathers that we offer here at Studio Sojourner. Many times there's a story behind the name. I usually will pick a name that has some kind of biblical reference, themes, and things that are found in Israel. For example, there's seed, olive, sand, ibex, poppy, turmeric, just to name a few. Anyway, we were brainstorming one day on possible names for this leather, and collectively we could not come up with a name for it, and I started feeling the pressure because we were about to send the next folio subscription in this leather, and we couldn't very well send it out without a name. So I could not really remember exactly what day it was, but it was either that afternoon or the next morning that I went to the coffee shop with the purpose of spending some time catching up on my scripture pages. As I was writing, I came across these verses in Genesis 5 where it reads that Enoch walked with God and he was no more, for God took him. That's in Genesis 5:21 to 24. Scholars interpret that as Enoch never experiencing physical death. He was taken up, entered heaven alive. A truly amazing story. Immediately I thought, Enoch, I would say then, was timeless, classic, and black being a classic, timeless color. It never goes out of style. Enoch. So there you have it. That is how I came up with the name Enoch. I know, earth-shattering, right? Well, having said that, I am reminded that my relationship with Jesus is not about works, but it is about grace. He is grace. He wasn't judging me for being behind on my scripture pages. He worked with me through it. Had I been keeping up on my daily goal, perhaps I wouldn't have put the two together. Now, I'm not saying that it's good to slack, but what I am saying is this, that he, out of his love and kindness, used it to remind me that he is faithful even when I'm not. So that's the story. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And as always, keep on documenting life as it happens and be blessed and pass it on. Bye-bye.